Councilmember Porter, if you're ready to call this meeting to order,
All right,
the recording is ready.
call the meeting to order for employees committee meeting, November 18th, it's Monday, 2024.
Would you like me to take the
Take a roll
roll?
call, yeah.
Alrighty, Chair Porter,
Present.
Councilmember Dundon,
Present.
Councilmember Costi is absent. Councilmember Kavanaugh, you're here as an ex officio member, and then we also have Mayor Cram, Corporation Council Bergman, and Comptroller Sheeter, excuse me, Comptroller Robinson with us, so sorry. Came right up.
No idea. Say that.
Got into a groove.
So we're here to discuss the ordinance 24-99, ordinance to amend the 2024 contingency budget. Any discussion? Anybody start off?
Since we're discussing the particulars of a particular personnel matter, I move to executive session.
Yeah, if you guys want to discuss the specifics in context,
Yeah.
it would be a confidential personnel matter, so maybe a member of the committee, if you want to move into executive session.
I mean, obviously you have something on your mind, so I'll make the motion.
No, I'm right.
I mean, I was gonna keep it generic to what the
Oh.
legislation
Oh,
is,
go
that way
ahead.
we don't have to go into executive
Go
session,
ahead.
seeing that it's already public record. So, but I would like to hear the mayor's concerns and the comptroller's concerns to start off.
Sure. So I think as a matter of, again, a $6,200 transfer, I don't think is necessarily what my questions were when this came to E&A. I guess my understanding was, or I thought my understanding was that finance chair spoke with our controller kind of at length a few weeks ago. I thought kind of discussed what was happening with this. And I thought had a path forward. And then I saw it on the agenda on in RL. And I think that there are a couple different concerns with how this is being funded as it relates to specifically collective bargaining agreements, how we do things in terms of additional duties, and then also to as it relates to when the original transfer was made in the department for the additional duties when the registrar of vital statistics was vacant. And because it requires the approval of E&A, you know, it didn't go through the standard RL process where it goes to the corporation council, goes to the finance, goes to me. When I think some of that may have been able to been figured out in advance, it just went right to the floor. And I think that caused an issue. Well, clearly, because we're here. So I think that if there's stuff that involves specifically personnel, this is a broad kind of statement, again, not specific to this. But if it's something involving personnel or it's involving the enforcement or related to collective bargaining agreements, I think it's always important that at least law, finance in my office kind of has a once over on what that request is, because we're the ones that are tasked with doing those things. In this case, that didn't go through that process, and I think caused some questions and caused some concern. Again, the main things with this are that I think we transferred money while a position was vacant. The position was filled, and now I guess there's still a request to still have that money there. Is that everyone's understanding? I guess what is the understanding?
No, clerk, can you give a better explanation than that, seeing that you are the department head?
Right, so the money was transferred in between salary lines to account for the responsibility adjustments prior to it being filled. That money was estimated through the end of the year because we couldn't expect exactly when the position would be filled at the time. The position then was filled, and we were advised by the comptroller that there wasn't money in the budget line remaining for us to pay out the regular salary amount after that position was filled. However, both of the people that are in the office supporting that position are still doing extra duties, so that accounts for the responsibility adjustment that they're doing, covering the onboarding of this person. So.
And this was the discussion, Chuck, that you had with the finance chair about this thing, and you guys, I thought, came to some sort of understanding.
Well, So it's a question of approach to the whole issue and there's originally two employees involved with responsibility adjustments and extra duties and training and onboarding time and catch up in the body statistics side of things, right? So one of those is resolved. The other one is ongoing. What personnel department recommended was a responsibility adjustment of a certain amount. And we sat down and puzzled all that out and what it looked like and where money would come from to come to that amount. We had a solution that fit that criteria. So that's where we're at. And again, the vital statistics side, I think is solved. And so it's the clerk's office side that still remains unresolved. And you have what personnel had suggested for responsibility adjustment based on their interpretation of things versus what had been originally outlined when the money was when this issue originally arose and the money was moved an intra-fund, within the clerk's department budget, in anticipation of the sort of position being left open for the rest of the year, essentially, which is and the discussions around that and the additional responsibilities that clerk's office department personnel are taking on in light of the opening. I'm not being terribly clear. It's hard to talk around this. Anyway, when you get down to brass tacks, what was discussed with people in office, what was originally brought to council, and what council originally voted on, the intent, essentially what we effectively promised, was one amount, which is different than what personnel ended up deciding would be a good responsibility adjustment. So what we're dealing with is the gap between those two things. And I think it's a matter of what should be established as policy and an approach to things going forward versus the situation we have right at the moment versus what was promised several months ago. And that's what we have to reconcile.
What was the result, I guess, of, is the 6,200 in this the result of when you met with Chuck Robinson?
No,
Yeah,
Okay.
what number do you have, Jim?
I have all the numbers in front of me. if that's
Oh,
helpful.
Okay.
So the amount that was
so
originally.
again, at what point do you want to, this becomes drilled down to an individual person?
I think, and I'd like to provide some legal information to council, and to do that, I would need to get into context, which would involve a specific personnel discussion. So, I mean, I'd ask that council consider going into an executive session so that I could provide that information.
All right, I'll make a motion. On it.
Second.
Well, too, so.
Great, so we're gonna go in executive session, so everybody has to leave, but and then you guys can vote to let people in if you want to.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Live and direct. Okay. So we're back on executive decision. Think we're just gonna call for
You can give an explanation unless you want me to.
yeah, you go ahead and give the explanation.
So after talking over the legal counsel and with Councilman Kavanaugh and Middleton. Where you think moving forward that we are gonna try to stick to our guns on what was promised. But we do want to pull this RL. We're gonna submit a new RL by tomorrow to give us more time, even though it's been held over in the ENA. And this way we can make sure that we're in compliance with the CBA and PSCA. If it's out of title versus responsibility adjustment and all that, we have cleaned up. And then that way we can move forward with Chuck and Kent on coming up with a standardized formula for all departments to fall under, so then this doesn't happen, whether it's our department again or some other department. I feel that the clerks as well as council didn't believe we were gonna hire a registrar as fast as we did. And we luckily did, but at the same time, we did make a promise on this and we are gonna stick to this on this time. We will be passing an RL, we will do it in work session, and Chuck, you and Ken, and obviously Mayor, you and Megan, are all gonna be invited, and as we're moving forward, you guys will be in on this process. I think I covered everything, correct, for council?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's just a little more research that has to be done. We have to look at some information. So rather than moving forward with this and potentially creating further issues, kind of just roll back a little bit, start from square one and see what we can get accomplished.
Yeah, but we're still gonna go with what we promised to, so that's, I just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, we're just gonna go about it a different way.
Well, yeah, I think we just need all the information without making any decision.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna rush anything, but at the same time, let's get this rectified and then moving forward, make sure we have a standard practice with all department heads. That way, it's just cleaner and neater for everybody. If anybody doesn't have anything, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn since.
So we got our-
Yeah, we have, we're late.
Okay.
Great. All right, so Councilman Dundon, motion, Sarah, Councilman for a second, seconded.